Winter comes to Patagonia, and there is still no sign of Penny. If she is alive, she's losing her food supply, for the snow is driving the guanacos out of her territory. Over 2,000 guanacos live in the park, and the distinct family groups coalesce into large herds. Male aggression is suspended in the interests of survival, and the herds migrate west to greener pastures.
Though we haven't seen Penny since the hunting incident, we've never given up hope that she's still alive. And while searching for her by the cave one day, we find puma tracks and our spirits soar. Are these Penny's prints? That evening we have the answer. There is our beautiful cat, still very much alive. It's great to see her again. Being with Penny day after day, I've learnt that the late evening, night and early morning are her most important hunting and feeding times. Hares are a favourite prey. And though I've always suspected that Penny is a youngish cat due to her rather impatient stalking, it's exciting to see her skills as a hunter improve with experience. Watched by a pair of courting and wary grey foxes, Penny plays with her victim as a kitten would, enjoying her sport long into the night. Searching for Penny the next day, I find that the hare is not her only kill. The rapid thaw has exposed a dead guanaco to the condor's gaze. Pumas cover their kills with vegetation or snow to hide food that could last several days, but Penny stays nearby to discourage the condors from scavenging her meal. Pumas tend to eat only at night, whereas foxes are always alert for any opportunity, and these two compete for Penny's buried treasure. They mustn't get too preoccupied. Given half a chance, Penny would eat them too. The fox's speed nearly always saves them, and Penny seems weary. So after a long night's hunting, it's time to return to the den for her daytime sleep.
With Penny back in her cave and the exposed carcass now obvious to the condors, it's safe for them to glide down in numbers. With their 10-foot wingspan, condors have amazing control in these turbulent skies and look big even in this mighty landscape. Dwarfed by the condor's bulk, the little gray fox will have to wait its turn. But there will be little left when the condors are finished. Adult males weigh in at 25 pounds and will quickly reduce the carcass to a skeleton. 3 days' meat supply will be gone, and Penny will have to hunt again tonight.
I wonder if hunger caused by losing the guanaco to the condors forced Penny to go sheep rustling. For next time I see her, she has a wound in her left thigh, inflicted by the hunter's dogs perhaps, or winged by a bullet. Fortunately, she doesn't seem to be limping, so maybe it's only a flesh wound. I worry that getting her used to me will put her at greater risk with other humans, but she clearly differentiates between us. For when a photographer friend tried to approach her, even camouflaged in my clothes, she fled. Brushing that branch with scent is one of the ways Penny marks her home range. She also sprays bushes and leaves droppings on trails to tell other cats she's passed by. Following Penny around, we've learnt she has a home range of over 60 square miles, overlapping with maybe 2 other females, but only 1 male. If she's to breed successfully, she not only has to stake out this home range and let the male know she's here, she must also find food, so she does a lot of walking. In the evening, I find Penny sniffing around above her den. She's keenly interested, as if she smells another cat, and maybe it's a male. Pumas become sexually mature between 2 and 3 years old, and if Penny is as young as I suspect, this could be her first encounter. Mountain lions can breed in any month, but down here in Patagonia, the pumas tend to have kittens in the spring. Her behavior does suggest a male is around. She seems keen but hesitant, just like any young lady on a blind date. And there he is, a big male waiting by the den. Penny seems apprehensive. In fact, rather touchingly, she circles round closer to me than him. Seems extraordinary that she trusts a human more than a puma. I feel quite honoured. He's not happy with me. Probably can't understand Penny's relaxed attitude. She doesn't seem to be too impressed by him. He's a powerful-looking cat, easily recognized by those more distinct black and white markings on his face. Unlike Penny's rather laid-back, provocative attitude, it doesn't look as though the male will relax while I'm here. So as he sits looking at his potential mate, I give them privacy and retreat back to camp. I see Penny and the male together just once more, in moonlight near our tents. If they did mate, gestation is about 3 months, so she might have cubs in the spring.
Spring is a time of awakening and renewal, and the park becomes a mecca for wildlife. Birds flood into numerous lakes, Chilean flamingos, and ruddy ducks with their chest-patting display. Gray foxes and their cubs will take advantage of this abundance of life, and maybe Penny has cubs too. But she's disappeared again and must be hiding somewhere deep in the hills. Weeks pass, and the summer sun draws moisture from the land. The world turns, and autumn's chill creeps down from the mountains. But there's still no sign of Penny. On the arrival of autumn, the guanacos gather into large groups in preparation for the coming winter, and Hugh continues his search for Penny near the herds.
At last I find Penny again, and after all this time, her attitude to me seems different. Is it a warning to keep my distance, or a gesture of friendship? Either way, if she does have cubs, I hope she'll lead me to them. If they were born in the spring, they should have been out of the den for several weeks. I follow her into a steep-sided valley, at the bottom of which is a dried-up lake. This bush should break up my silhouette on the skyline. And, yeah, there. I can just make her out in the marsh, lying on a bed of dried reeds. And she does have a cub. Ah, 2 more playing nearby. 3 in all, a normal-sized litter. Must be about 4 months old. What charming little kittens they are. My joy at finding the cubs is short-lived, for in trying to find a better camera position, she spots me and is terrified, absolutely shaking with fear. Her wild instincts seem to have taken over completely. She's abandoning the cubs. Understandable, I guess. I suppose she thinks I'm a hunter. She's obviously choosing to protect her own life, or is she trying to draw me away from her cubs, as mountain lions have been known to do in North America? Whatever the reason, I pray that her departure is only temporary. It's a tense situation, for filming wild animals, however well-intentioned, often disturbs them and can even put their lives at risk, and the animals' welfare must come first. But I've really blown it this time. I pull back to a safe distance from Penny, and much to my relief, as darkness approaches, she relaxes and seems to accept me again. Then she starts heading back to the cubs. Using a special night vision lens, I hope to witness a happy reunion. Pumas can see really well in moonlight, but Penny also uses a harsh bark to locate her cubs. Though the quality of my night vision lens is poor, it sure is a relief to see the family safely together again. At 4 months old, the cubs are already weaned onto meat, so this means Penny must leave them frequently to go off hunting. And now she knows they're safe. That's exactly what she does. After the scare I gave Penny, I lose her for several days, but eventually find her to the west of her den. She only has 2 cubs, and I wonder where the third one has gone. Donnie and I just walk and walk, scouring the hills for Penny and her cubs and clues of their presence. And about a week later, we come across one of Penny's old kills. And there, close to it, is a sad sight. The third cub, its body already desiccated by the relentless wind. Its skull is flat on one side. Must have been crushed by another puma, for nothing else is strong enough. It's a tearful moment, and we pray that Penny's other cubs will survive.
Soon after this loss, Penny and her 2 surviving cubs return to the old den site. She knows it's a good place for hunting, and no doubt the cubs will be learning from her example. Long experience has taught Penny where to lie in wait for thirsty guanacos. Unfortunately, Penny's cubs have not yet learned the importance of keeping out of sight. Once discovered, Penny won't waste energy trying to remain hidden. she'll just move to another hunting ground. The cubs will go hungry once again, but theirs is a life of feast or famine. So if they survive to adulthood, they will face hardship many times.
Penny is finding just how tough it is to raise a family, and driven by hunger, hunts in all weathers. Without surprise on her side, Penny has little chance against a fleet-footed hare, and she needs larger meals too. But the guanacos have been driven west by the blizzards, and Penny must follow. Hungry or not, the cubs remain playful as they follow her trail. They're 8 months old now, and I soon appreciate how effective their large paws are in soft snow. They glide over the surface while I struggle to keep up, drilled into deep drifts by 50 pounds of camera gear. But I'm desperate to see a successful guanaco hunt, and Penny is keen too. On this particular day she walks 6 miles, but it may be worth it. Guanacos converge into large herds in harsh weather, not just for warmth and shelter, but to exploit the best forage. They feed more efficiently if there are many pairs of eyes, for it can be a successful defense against puma attack. Penny's coat color is a disadvantage in snow, but it's surprising just how close she can stalk without being seen. For every success, there are many failures, and almost inevitably, it seems, Penny is spotted. But she has another problem. Her quest for a meal has taken her deep into the home range of another cat, and it's watching us all from the top of the cliff. This one also has cubs, 3 large ones. I'm keen to find out who Penny's neighbour is, and though the cubs make themselves scarce and their mother is shy at first, she's remarkably tolerant. Living deep inside the park, perhaps she has little fear of humans. She's a superb cat with that wide head and those large pale jowls. And she has a much darker nose too. Completely different looks from Penny. And though I'm biased, she's not really as pretty. She's huge, must weigh close to 150 pounds, more the size of a male. Penny is extremely wary of this stranger, for pumas will defend their litters fiercely. So each family avoids confrontation by putting wild country between them. The cubs seem unwilling to do anything but play, and Penny is reluctant to leave the area too, for this is where the guanacos are holed up for the winter. But she must retreat to ensure her cubs' safety. They'll be hungry again, but spring is on the way. With the thaw comes a food supply, for as winter loosens its icy grip on the land, the guanacos migrate back to the area where Penny lives. She was obviously lying in ambush, for we discover a fresh-killed guanaco, carefully hidden to await her return with the cubs. At dusk, I walk down to my camera near the carcass, and with guanacos to warn me of Penny's approach, I'm free to enjoy these glorious skies. Suddenly, like ghosts, the cats are beside me, moving noiselessly through the grass. I sense a quiet menace in such silent stealth, but as with most animals, the threat of danger is largely in the imagination. Trouble is, I can only see through the special lens, and it sure feels spooky being surrounded by 3 large cats in the dark. The cubs are now a year old and need a lot of meat, so Penny is catching adult guanacos. Standing 6 feet and weighing as much as 300 pounds, guanacos are more than twice her size. Yet Penny not only kills them, she's also strong enough to drag them to safe feeding places. The sound of crunching bones must be like a guanaco's worst nightmare. Once they're replete, the cubs are free to play. But with dawn approaching fast, Penny must cover the carcass, as there's still at least 4 nights' meat here for her growing family. Play is an essential part of the cubs' training as predators, developing muscles and hunting skills. But watching them romping about, you can't help feeling they're just having fun. They won't be independent until they're maybe 18 months old, so if they survive, Penny still has 6 months hard work ahead. And if she survives the threats of starvation and poaching, she will start all over again. She might live more than 8 years, raising at least 4 litters of mischievous kittens. With the dawn chorus in full voice, Penny leads the cubs away, taking them to different parts of the home range each day to ensure they know the best places to hunt and hide. Their survival is important. The pumas are a vital part of the natural cycle in these mountains. From the sun's power to the growing plants, the plant eaters and their death and decay, all these elements must be balanced if the land is not to be damaged. In turn, pumas themselves are profoundly dependent on the life support systems they help to create. So it's not just sentiment that makes Penny and her cubs important. Pumas, cougars, mountain lions, they must all survive if these wild places are not to lose their essential spirit, their inspiration. But the story is not quite complete. I heard recently that Penny and the cubs are still alive. And though I'll always be disappointed that fate didn't allow me to see her actually catch a guanaco, maybe that is how it should be. She's kept many secrets, retained her mystery and dignity. And I have many wonderful memories, For this completely wild puma gave me the privilege of sharing part of her life, even trusting me enough to sleep by my side. Her presence in the mountains is not a shadow, it's a shining light.